I have read some characters that have frustrated the point that if I met them in real life, I would want to either shake them, tell them off, or plead with them to find their common sense. And Nick Stone admitted at the end of the book, when you get to the end, she was afraid to write about Jarred Christensen, Jarred Peter Christensen, who I literally wanted to punch him in the face, go off on him, and then hug him at the same time while signing him up for therapy. So for those of you who have never read the Dear Martin series, which I didn't know this would become a series, Dear Martin deals with justice. I'm not going to give you the spill because it's too much to spill. Then you have Dear Justice, which deals with another character from Dear Martin. And then Dear Manny is about Jarred. None of the Dear books, the person they're Dear has nothing to do with them. But there's a connection there that they are able to express through either journal writing or just writing letters. And Jarred comes to the knowledge of his white privilege in Dear Martin and comes to full circle with it and tries to redeem some of the things he's done in more so Dear Justice. I can't remember. Part of me wants to go back and reread Dear Martin and Dear Justice after reading this book. Nevertheless, he decides to run for junior class president, which I didn't get it at first. It's obviously he comes from a family where your dad already has a certain standard and you're expected to follow it. But he understands that some of the thoughts and behaviors of his father is not something he wants to bring on. Even the fact that he's not studying finance or whatever his dad does, and he's studying civil rights law. That is a big blow to his dad's ego and his wanting to please his dad, because for the longest he did whatever his dad wanted him to do, even to dating this girl who her dad and his dad went to school together, and this will be the perfect match. Same thing the dad did with the older brother, who was 8 years older than him. And Jarred likes black girls. There's no he loves black girls. Matter of fact, the girl he had a crush on in Dear Justice, you have to read to find out what happened with that. But y'all, so he decides to unwillingly, reluctantly, but then glad he did it, run for junior class president. And he knows that one guy that he's running against easily would be a Trump supporter. Easily. That's the only way to describe him. And he doesn't know he assumes the other candidate is a man, because the name is Dylan. And then while he's waiting for he's in this awesome class and constitutional law, and the professor intentionally partners him up with his 3 running mates. It's the Trump supporter, which I can't think of his name. I'll put it up when I go to post this video, Dylan and himself. And she partners him and Dylan together. And he doesn't understand, why would you partner me with my running mate for this project? So he's talking junk about his partner because he doesn't see who he thinks is a white dude show up. Guess who it is? This beautiful, attractive black girl he was already eyeing, but didn't want to try to flirt with her in the midst of trying to wait on my partner. And when he realized it's her, it's like everything explodes. And it's crazy. There's no denying that he loves her. I wouldn't say loves her, he really likes her. He's really fond of her. The biggest issue that she knew about him is that prior to him wanting to run, or right after he decided to run, he finds out that the star running back, who was a semester from graduating, being a top NFL scouted recruit, gets expelled because he was not even really over the legal DUI limit, but because he was drinking while driving. They realized he did have alcohol, and he was like 8-9 months away from being 21. Mind you, Jarred was clearly under 21 and had a DUI, and his dad had it expunged, and he's still in school living the high life. And he knows if he had been in this running back situation who was black, he would not be in the predicament that he is in. Same reason why he should not be running for office, because he has a DUI, which it does come out in the campaign. You have to find out what happens when it does come out. But in the midst of him running, he gets an anonymous DM or text saying how Dylan, a mugshot of her, but he doesn't know what she did. Now me, because I know how the system works, I knew whatever she was being accused of, she didn't do what they think she did, or she did do, but it was in defense of something else that was being done to her. I already knew. And it comes to a time, and this is a spoiler alert if you have not read the book. Instead of him just going to her and saying what happened, he doesn't. And legally, you find out later she couldn't. But this white boy turns around and uses it against her to ensure that he wins the election. Because he said, both of us are running. We're going to split the votes, which guarantees Trump supporter to win. Then how he trashes, and then he trashed his campaign. I'm not going to tell you what he did. You got to read it. But it's like, you really expected people, like the confidence he had that he was going to win the election when he was going off on somebody about a situation he found out that was done against him, which I need y'all to read the book to find out what happened. You have this confidence that you're going to win. Did you forget what you did the night of the debate? Yeah, you have to read the book to find out what happened. Did you forget? People saw you. People saw you. So, y'all, so it's a matter of, is he going to continue to knowingly thrive? And I don't know if thrive is the word, but use his white privilege to his advantage, because he definitely is like a flapping fish. 1 minute, no, I'm standing for your belief, because there's an incident that happens with Dylan where she's being accused of stealing a laptop. Mind you, there's no evidence that she stole the laptop. Nobody saw her steal the laptop, but yet this white girl was allowed to call campus police, and campus police held everybody hostage in this room until they found this laptop, until Dylan came up with the laptop. And he came in, he called him Captain Save-A-Ho. And he was like, legally, you can't do this. You have no evidence to prove that she even stole anything. So the key information that I realized I forgot to tell y'all is that Dylan was at another school, and Dylan transfers second semester, which is not normal to have a second semester transfer student be able to run for office. And he's like, who transfers in the middle semester and wants to run for office? Like, something is up with that. And then he realizes this arrest probably has something to do with it. And then when one day she had to rush off the phone, she said, my lawyer. But he never thinks to ask her. And this was a good book. But Nick Stone doesn't not write good books. That's like saying she can't write. I will thrash you in your throat. Not literally, but I'll think about it or imagine myself doing it. But still, she is so magnificent. So this was a good one. But I think everyone should read this book. And she was very intentional about making Dear Manny, the main character, Jarred, a white boy. She was very intentional, and she did a very good job. And I really hope, if people are too scared to read Dear Martin, because sadly is being banned, Dear Manny needs to open up the floodgates. And because it causes the same discussion as you hear in Dear Martin and in Dear Justice. Like, she was brilliant for this one. She was brilliant.